The questions have been coming all day, literally, for U.S. Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett. Members of the Senate Judiciary Committee have pressed for answers with mixed results. John Yang begins our coverage.
Front and center in Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation hearing today, some of the country's biggest hot-button issues.
Judges can't just wake up one day and say, I have an agenda, I like guns, I hate guns, I like abortion, I hate abortion, and you have to wait for cases and controversies.
It's distressing not to get a straight answer.
Tensions rose as senators pressed Judge Barrett, a mentee of the late Justice Antonin Scalia, on how a Justice Barrett might affect Americans' lives.
My personal views don't have anything to do with how I would decide cases, and I don't want anybody to be unclear about that. If I'm confirmed, you would not be getting Justice Scalia, you would be getting Justice Barrett.
Under questioning from Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, Barrett talked about some of those views.
I've tried to be on a media blackout for the sake of my mental health, but you can't keep yourself walled off from everything, and I'm aware of a lot of the caricatures that are floating around. So I think what I would like to say in response to that question is that, look, I've made distinct choices. I've decided to pursue a career and have a large family. I have a multiracial family. Our faith is important to us. All of those things are true, but they are my choices. And in my personal interactions with people, I have a life brimming with people who've made different choices, and I've never tried in my personal life to impose my choices on them.
Can you set aside whatever Catholic beliefs you have regarding any issue before you?
I can. I have done that in my time on the Seventh Circuit. If I stay on the Seventh Circuit, I'll continue to do that. If I'm confirmed to the Supreme Court, I will do that still.
When it comes to your personal views about this topic, do you own a gun?
We do own a gun.
All right. Do you think you could fairly decide a case even though you own a gun?
Yes.
In 2019, as a federal appeals court judge, Barrett wrote that convicted felons should not automatically be denied the right to own a gun. Like previous nominees, Barrett declined to say if the landmark case Roe v. Wade, which guaranteed the right to an abortion, was wrongly decided, a view she expressed as a law professor. Senator Dianne Feinstein of California, the panel's top Democrat, questioned her on the issue.
So let me try again. Do you agree with Justice Scalia's view that Roe was wrongly decided?
I have no agenda to try to overrule Casey. I have an agenda to stick to the rule of law and decide cases as they come.
Later, under questioning by Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, Barrett said Roe is not so widely accepted to be considered a super precedent.
I'm answering a lot of questions about Roe, which I think indicates that Roe doesn't fall in that category. And scholars across the spectrum say that doesn't mean that Roe should be overruled. But descriptively, it does mean that it's not a case that everyone has accepted and doesn't call for its overruling.
My colleagues on the other side of the aisle were fear-mongering on this.
Republicans pushed back on Democrats' argument that a Justice Barrett would help a 6-3 conservative court overturn the Affordable Care Act, or ACA. The court is to hear a challenge to the law November 10th.
All of you over there want to impose Obamacare on South Carolina. We don't want it.
As a law professor, Barrett criticized Chief Justice John Roberts' reasoning for his 2012 ruling that upheld central pillars of Barack Obama's health care law, writing in a 2017 Law Review article that he pushed the Affordable Care Act beyond its plausible meaning to save the statute.
I was not attacking Chief Justice Roberts or impugning his character or anything of that sort. It was an academic critique, and I have not made any commitments or deals or anything like that. I'm not here on a mission to destroy the Affordable Care Act. I'm just here to apply the law.
Barrett declined to say if she would recuse herself from either the ACA case, which President Trump says he hopes results in overturning the law.
Well, Senator, recusal itself is a legal issue.
Or from any case that might arise from the presidential election.
I have had no conversation with the president or any of his staff on how I might rule.
She also sidestepped questions about the president's comments about the election's fairness.
Does the Constitution give the President of the United States the authority to unilaterally delay a general election under any circumstances? does federal law?
If that question ever came before me, I would need to hear arguments from the litigants and read briefs and consult with my law clerks and talk to my colleagues and go through the opinion writing process. So, you know, if I give off-the-cuff answers, then I would be basically a legal pundit, and I don't think we want judges to be legal pundits.
Republicans like John Cornyn of Texas strongly defended her.
Attacking somebody for their faith and suggesting that that disqualifies them from holding a public office is the attack that's being made on judicial independence.
Tomorrow, Barrett is to face another long day of questions from senators. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm John Yang.